Hey there everybody, welcome back to another Diablo IV video. I'm Captain Beefy, this is the Game Vault, and we're going to talk about the recent win for Microsoft in their attempt to acquire Activision and how that might impact Diablo IV in the future. Will it be going to Game Pass? Will it not be? And so forth and so on. And I'm going to give you my thoughts on this whole thing. I've been relatively quiet on this on Twitter as well as here. It's a very touchy subject, and you really can't say anything about it in favor of it or against it without being pilloried as a hater or a corporate bootlicker. So, anyway, let's cue up the music, and we'll get right to it. Alright, so here is the story that I'm looking at right now. It's from MMORPG.com. It says, Blizzard boss shuts down Diablo IV on Xbox Game Pass. This is not happening. For those looking at the recent legal win for Microsoft and its Activision Blizzard acquisition, and hoping it means we'll see Diablo IV on Game Pass anytime soon, Blizzard's president has shut that down full stop in a recent tweet. In a now deleted banner advertisement, Brazilian payment app PicPay advertised the ARPG on Microsoft's Game Pass subscription service with the initial tweet claiming it was available now on the platform. Anyone who has Game Pass will know that it's in fact not available now, but it led to speculation that Blizzard could be bringing Diablo IV to the service. However, Blizzard President Mike Ibarra shut those talks down in no uncertain terms, stating that Diablo IV on Game Pass is not happening, and there is his exact tweet. However, it's important to note that while Ibarra is shutting down the rumors that Diablo IV is currently coming to Game Pass, he acknowledges in a follow-up tweet to streamer Gothalion, that he can't predict the future, leaving room for it to come down the road. However, he doubled down on the PicPay leak in that same tweet, calling it bogus. Gothalion said, I think he deleted that tweet after this morning's decision, unless I can't find it. And Mike's response is, we can't predict the future. That leak was bogus and not happening. The speculation here is ramped up thanks to the current acquisition of Microsoft, acquisition by Microsoft of Activision Blizzard getting over a major hurdle in winning its court case against the Federal Trade Commission this week. If the Czech tech giant does acquire ABK, the general sense is that we will see Activision Blizzard come to Xbox's Game Pass subscription service, despite current Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick not being a fan of multi-game subscription services. So if you're holding out hope that Diablo IV will come to Game Pass eventually, there isn't anything saying it'll never happen. However, it doesn't look like it's in the cards for Blizzard anytime soon, if at all. For those still playing the ARPG, you do have Season 1 to look forward to, coming later this month. So, there you have it. This was this has been, God, how long has this been going on? It's been going on for months and months and months. And to be honest, this is a reason I've kind of stepped a little bit back from Twitter recently, is because the back and forth between Xbox fans and Sony fans and everybody in between is now a legal expert on monopolies and everything, and it's very frustrating. Yeah, it's very frustrating. It's frustrating being on there, having to listen to this back and forth, and people that I genuinely like to follow. Some of them are remaining pretty normal about it, but then others sometimes are just saying these off-the-wall things, and the vitriol and the hate, it's astounding to me, right? So I'm a PlayStation owner and a PlayStation player. I've been a fan my whole life, or the whole life of PlayStation, I should say. I've been around since the first one. Never owned an Xbox. Never found the need to get one. And it's not until I've recently started doing this a year or so ago that I've considered possibly getting an Xbox in the future, and it's still something I really want to think about. I'd like to get a gaming PC, an Xbox, and then whatever Nintendo comes up with to follow up on the Switch. I'm not going to go buy a Switch because, to me, that technology is so old right now that I really feel like if I buy it 5 minutes later, they're going to announce the new one coming out, and I'm going to be like, son of a, you know. So I would wait on something like that. And besides, all that money, that's a lot of money to put out right now. I'm not bringing in nearly enough to support that kind of, or those kind of purchases for the company. So, but in any case, so I had been thinking about getting an Xbox. And, you know, I recently went through Game Pass and I looked at the catalog that's available, and there's a lot of neat stuff on there. But I'll tell you, there was nothing on there that compelled me to go, man, I really wish I had the Xbox and Game Pass. Because a lot of the games on there I already had via my PlayStation, or, you know, through the PlayStation Plus service. I subscribe to the premium one, so I've got, you know, I do that annually, so it's not really that expensive. So it's, you know, once a year you make that payment, you're done. But yeah, there wasn't anything that really compelled me to say, well, would that be a value for me? Would I get a lot out of my Xbox? I'm like, there's some stuff on there I wouldn't mind, you know. I saw some cool stuff on there, like the original Dead Space 1 and 2, and I think 3 as well. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I was like, well, that'd be kind of fun to go back and revisit. But with the recent Dead Space remake, and this is just one that's catching my memory, you know. I won't be shocked if in a year or two we don't see or hear an announcement that Dead Space 2 remake is coming out, and then hopefully 3 with some, you know, changes to it. So, you know, again, nothing really compelled me to get it. And that's not talking down. That's just talking, I have an extensive collection of games already available to me. I've been a PlayStation Plus member for years. That's 3 free games a month that have gone into my catalog. I have not played them all. Plus what's available from when I bought the PlayStation 5, we had those 8 or 10 games, whatever it was, that you could just get for free. Boom, got all those, put them in there. And then with the PlayStation Plus Premium, you know, and the more so the middle tier one, it seems to be the better one. The premium one's okay, but that's giving me access to tons of games that I just, you know, games that I was like, you know, I'm kind of curious about that game, but I never really was curious enough to buy it. Well, now I have access to it, all these third-party games and all that. I'm not a big first-person shooter in the sense of Call of Duty type games, so that really doesn't appeal to me much. So the acquisition doesn't bother me for that reason. I am a big fan of Diablo. Like, you know, if you haven't noticed, I've been playing it for, you know, playing Diablo games for almost 30 years now, and so I'm a big fan of that. So finding out that this may fall into a competitor's hands and may go the route of what Bethesda's doing by making things exclusive to Xbox is a little, you know, is a little frustrating in that way. You know, again, would I get an Xbox for that? You know, I might. I mean, I'm looking at the Starfield that's coming out, and I'm like, the game looks good. But is it a $500 investment good just to, you know, play Bethesda outer space game? Maybe, you know, maybe it would be. But at the moment, that's the thing that would compel me the most to get it. And then, you know, if, let's say Diablo IV was coming out next year and they made this acquisition and they made it an exclusive to Xbox or whatever, you know, I know that wouldn't have happened in this short of notice, but that would have really been tempting. You know, I love Bethesda. I was a huge fan of Elder Scrolls games, huge fan of the Fallout series. You know, Doom is under their umbrella now. Love a lot of stuff Bethesda does. So Starfield, compelling, but not an IP that I'm invested in. It's brand new. So it's kind of like, well, what I don't know doesn't hurt me. But Diablo's been around since I was in my 20s. And I'm like, this would be a game that would tempt me to come over there. But, you know, but my thoughts on this whole thing, I'm not really happy that it looks like Activision Blizzard's going to be a part of Microsoft like Bethesda is. And it's not because I'm hating on Microsoft. It's not because, you know, a lot of people are like, well, everything they do turns to crap and they don't know how to manage what they've got and they don't release games. Yeah, I hear all these arguments and you know, and some people make valid points here and there through the rhetoric. You know, if you look at stuff like, what was it, Redfall that just came out and all that. But Sony delivers turds too. Look at, what did we have? Forspoken earlier this year. That was a hot turd in a cold basket, you know? So, it's any company can do that. It's not that I don't trust Microsoft to run these companies and put out quality products, Starfield looks like it's going to be great. It looks like a Bethesda game. I've said that from the first time I saw it. I'm like, oh wow, it looks like Fallout in space. I love Fallout, so that's not a bad thing, you know. Yeah, the graphics are better. The combat looks similar to, you know, Bethesda-style combat. Certain companies have certain feels to their games. You can feel, you know, they all share this common DNA, whether it's in the engine they use or whatever. Although I think Starfield, I don't think they're using the Creation engine now, right? Are they using the... I don't know, maybe not. Maybe they're not using the Unreal 5. But in any case, there's a style to it. There's an art. Just like when a band releases an album, it has a whole new set of songs on it, but the DNA of the band is still there. It still kind of sounds like, you know, other things they've done. You know, directors, they have certain feels to their movies that you can tell they've done that. And that's how I feel about Bethesda. That's how I feel about Diablo here with Activision. So what was the point I was making? But okay. So yeah, the reason I don't like it is because now we have a consolidation of some really big companies under one roof, and that roof produces a console that is a major competitor to another console, right? I look at PlayStation, I look at Xbox as competitors. I don't look at Nintendo the same way. Nintendo exists in its own ecosystem that nobody will ever touch. You know, it's just its own thing. So they really don't battle in these console wars. Nintendo just exists. Sony and PlayStation want to release at the same time to fight for that dollar. Nintendo's like, you know what, I'll release 2 years later and I'll outsell both of you. It's just the way it is with them. They're crazy, you know. And yeah, 5 years later, my games will still be $70, and you're gonna buy them because you love them. But yeah, I don't like that consolidation, and I wouldn't like it anymore if PlayStation did it, you know. And now the talk is, well, what will they buy next, or what's PlayStation gonna do? Now PlayStation's done. This is nothing's done. Nobody's going out of business over this. It's a lot of butthurt people are going to complain about it on both sides on the internet, and that's kind of that's kind of aggravating and frustrating to have to see. But the real problem is the consolidation, because as this has happened, what's inevitable is retaliation and escalation at this point. Sony now is going to find themselves forced to purchase another studio, right? As something as big as they get. And then people have already been talking about, well, is it going to be Capcom? Is it going to be Square Enix? Is it going to be, what was that? What else is it? Rockstar? Whatever. Just different, different people are throwing out different names. Everybody on the internet, like I said, is now a professional lawyer on acquisitions and all that kind of stuff, and monopolies and all. So inevitably they're going to buy something to help counteract that. And we still don't know if Microsoft's going to make these exclusives. Now, they did make Starfield an exclusive. They did make Redfall an exclusive. For whatever reasons, I don't know. I'm not even going to speculate on it. There are rumors that Starfield was supposed to be for both consoles in the beginning. When I first heard about the Bethesda acquisition, I was like, oh, we're probably never going to see another Fallout on PlayStation, which was disappointing. Or another Elder Scrolls. And as I see what's going on in the bad blood that's forming here, I have a feeling that moving forward, we're going to see more and more exclusives on these different consoles, and that's not good for anybody. I don't think that's good for anybody, to be honest with you. I'm not going to discuss the good or bad of Game Pass and day one releases, and if it devalues games and all that. That's a discussion for another time by people who know a lot more about economics than I do. Again, I think to myself, I've been in business. I'm building one now. I've done it before in the past, and I think if I make a product, right, and I got 2 stores that want to sell my product, and I'm talking here from the viewpoint of a third party developer, why wouldn't I want both stores to sell that product? I will reach twice as many people, right? There's probably no Kmart's around available, but there used to be a place called Kmart, and then there's a place called Walmart. And I'm making this product of mine, this widget. I want both of those places to sell it, because if both of those places sell it, that's a lot of people that have the opportunity to buy my widget, and I will make money from both of those, right? So I don't understand why the point I'm trying to make is like making things exclusive is now all of a sudden you've cut off everybody who only shops at Walmart or everybody who only shops at Kmart, right? They can no longer buy my product because I've made a deal with one or the other that you're going to sell my thing exclusively. And now what can they do? Now, let's say Walmart want it. Now Walmart can say, all right, well, I've got your widget. We used to sell it for $5 because Kmart sold it for $6. Kmart can't sell it for $6 anymore, so now we're going to sell it for $8. Now they have the ability to raise the price on it, and it's available to less people. Now it's more expensive. This is how business can work sometimes. And I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's bad business to consolidate like that. Do I want to see more exclusives to PlayStation? I don't mind the exclusives, but I don't celebrate them either. When God of War Ragnarok came out, my good friend Dave, he's an Xbox owner, and he's owned Xbox for years. He just got the Series X a year ago or whatever. He's like, man, that game looks good. I wish I could play it. And my thought was not, haha, you can't because you have an Xbox. My thought was, damn, dude, I wish you could play it too, man. This game is badass. I'm like, this is a fun game. And he's showing me, what was the one in the yard? Grounded, I think, where you're like you're shrunk down like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I was like, oh, that game looks good. I was over his house one time, and I'm like, that game looks like fun. He goes, yeah, you should get it. So I go home, I get on a PlayStation Store. I'm like, son of a bitch, it's not available on the PlayStation Store. I can't play it, But he wasn't like, ha, you can't play it. He's like, oh, man, that sucks. That's the way you should be as a gamer. I see all this celebrating online, and it's aggravating. You guys got to be better out there, There's no reason to crap all over each other for these petty little online victories of, my plastic box beat your plastic box, because at the end of the day, PlayStation doesn't care about me. Just like Xbox doesn't care about an Xbox owner. They don't care. We are nothing but consumers to them. They take our money and they offer us a product or a service, and that's our relationship. There is no loyalty to us like a lot of fans show to the plastic box. And it's kind of weird. It's just this weird vibe that I'm seeing more and more lately, So, I don't know, I don't know. But, in any case, whatever the future holds here, if all this gets finalized, I'm sure there's going to be appeals and all that. And this is going to drag out for who knows how much longer. Some people are saying it's going to be settled by Friday. My money says probably not, but it might be. The sooner the better. That's the less time I have to go on Twitter and see a bunch of people arguing over, the merits of forming monopolies and all that. But yeah, we're going to see some retaliation. I guarantee you within the next couple of months, PlayStation's going to look to buy something, another studio. They have nowhere near the capital that Microsoft has. So, what they're going to buy is definitely going to be smaller and all that. But again, more isn't always better. Bigger isn't always better. Quality is what really counts. And if you like what you're playing, you like the system you have and all that, then enjoy it. If somebody else likes something else, I'll let them enjoy it, man. I'll never make fun of my buddy Dave for playing on his Xbox. God bless him, he loves it. It's fun, good times. My girlfriend's son, he's got a Switch. I'm not a Nintendo fan by any sense of the matter, but the kid loves his Switch. And do I make fun of him for it? I got a little Switch. No, man. Have fun on your damn Switch. You also has a little PlayStation 4 to play with, too. But, go out there, have fun, enjoy, be nice to each other. Be decent to each other, man. I'm so sick of the toxicity in this community. Some days it's just really vile. And hopefully we'll see that start to come to an end. But in any case, it's going to be what it's going to be. If it finalizes and all that by the weekend, great, done. It's over. We'll talk about something else, maybe like actual games. If it's not finalized and it's got to keep going on into the future, then, who knows how long it'll take and whatever. But try not to be a total tool over it, alright? Alright, guys, well, I'm Cat the Beef. If you found this interesting at all, please leave a like on the video down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you think if this finalizes that PlayStation is going to retaliate by purchasing Square Enix or some other company or whatever? And if so, do you see both of these companies gobbling up as many third-party developers as possible and becoming these two separate entities that you know, share nothing with each other, and then there's no good third-party developers out there anymore because they've all been gobbled up. I'll tell you what, if that starts to happen, this would be the time to start a new third-party company and go out there and produce some quality stuff, some quality indie stuff, and, you know, if you've got the talent for that, because there would be a market for it, guys. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for stopping by. Peace.